Welcome to the new chapter, Motion in a Straight Line. Friends, first word itself in the topic motion. Motion is the common thing or common phenomenon or common observations what we make in this universe. We observe different types of objects or the particles in this universe in different ways. First, if we observe certain bodies or objects or particles, they are at rest. Example, tree with respect to its position, house with respect to its position, they are at rest. Similarly, if we observe some other object, they are not in rest. Commonly we use they are in motion. Once they are in motion, that means moving from one place to another place. Such type of objects we observe in the nature. Example, flying of a bird, flying of an aeroplane, a man is walking or man is in motion, the earth is rotating around the sun, etc. So, some objects what we observe in the nature are at rest. Some objects which we observe in our nature are in motion. So now, the rest position of the body or the object or the motion of an object or the particle can be explained under one heading called as mechanics. Friends, in the beginning itself I wrote a word called mechanics. Then what is the mechanics? Mechanics is the study of the object or the particle or the bodies when they are at rest or in motion and their relationship. So now study of a particle at rest, study of particle at rest or in motion and their relation. What is meant by relation or what is meant by their relation? Look at this. Sometimes particles may at rest, sometimes the particle is in motion. The body may be at rest, the body may be in motion. Sometimes rest and motion together come into picture. So all together, then there is a relation between motion and rest. That concept I will explain after a couple of minutes. Then studying the particle at rest or in motion and the relation itself is called as mechanics. After studying this mechanics, so we should step into the next concept. How many types of mechanics are there? So now the next heading is types or the types of mechanics. First thing is there are three types of mechanics are there. How many types? There are three types of mechanics are there. Mainly, number one, static. Number two, dynamic or dynamic. Number three, kinematics. Kinematics. There are three important types of mechanics are there. So if I explain in another way, statistical mechanics, dynamic mechanics and kinematics mechanics. Friends, now let us understand the meaning of static. The dictionary meaning of static is rest. That means the study of the object at rest is termed as static mechanics. That means in static we are studying the body, study of the object, study of object at rest. This is very important as second year is concerned. We are studying this topic in detail. Now, rest means static. So the word means static means study of the object at rest. Friends, when the bodies or object are at rest, there is no importance to the time. So that means we can conclude that time will not play any important role in the static situation or when the objects are at rest. So now here continuously I am using the word objects or particles or bodies. What these are? I will explain afterward. There is a slightly deeper some important definitions. There I will explain what is the meaning of particle or the object or the body. Now second thing is dynamics. What is meant by dynamics? The dynamic or dynamic is, it is also a study of the object, but in the in motion, the study of the object in motion, but here we have to consider the cause of motion, right? I repeat once again, what is meant by dynamic? Study of the object in motion by considering the cause of motion. So let me write the definition. So what is meant by dynamic? Dynamic means what? Study of object in motion in considering the cause of it. The cause. So now here we are considering the cause of the motion in the dynamics. Next thing is kinematics. In the kinematics, we are studying the objects at their motion, but condition is we are not considering the cause of motion. We are not considering the cause of motion. But here, time plays very important role. So then, what is kinematics? So if I write kinematics, number 3, kinematics. The meaning of kinematics is again study of the object, in motion, without considering, it is very important, without considering cause of motion. So we are not considering the cause of motion. So 3 important types of mechanics are there. First type is static mechanics. In the static mechanics, we must question ourselves why the body does not move. Why the body does not move? That means the body is at rest. Question is why the body is at rest. If it is at rest, what it causes? That is comes under one topic called as statics mechanics or statistical mechanics. Second question is dynamics is there. The word dynamic is a Greek word. It means what? The power or the force which is applied to the body to move. So that is why this word is derived from the Greek dynamic. Dynamic means what? The power or the force applied to the body to displace or to move the body from one place to another place. So now in the dynamic, with the first question, what question we asked in the static? Why the body does not move? First question. But in the dynamics, we must ask another question. Why the body moves? First question. Why the body does not move? Statics. Dynamics. Why the body moves? In the kinematics, we must ask one more question. That is, how the body moves. I repeat, how the body moves. Why the body does not move? Why the body moves and how the body moves. So there are all 3 questions comes under this statics, dynamic and kinematics. Now, after studying this fundamental, right? So you may surprise with the explanation because no way concerned to the topic. Motion in a straight line is one thing, and sir is explaining about mechanics, types of mechanics and all these things. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about this. These are all the fundamentals. If you understand this concept, the remaining things will be very, very easy because just I am introducing the chapter motion in a straight line. So now let's come to some important definitions of this chapter. So now henceforth, already I used, but henceforth continuously I am using some words, repeating, recurringly using words called as object, particle, body. Object, particle, body. What exactly the meaning of the object or the particle or the body? Particle or the object is called as, it is a material particle or point mass. It is what? Point mass. So now, if a point mass is there, if a material particle is there, or a particle of reference is there, or a point of reference is there, that is called as a particle, object, or a body. Then, if I go to the next topic called as physical body. So now, if I consider n number of or large number of these objects or the particle, then that itself converts into a physical body. A body composed of large number of objects or the particles. Objects are the particle, right? So now this is what as a physical body. I am the physical body, living physical body, non-living physical body. You can take any body, any object, whatever observed in the nature. These are all considered under one topic called as body or the physical body. Then some features are there, so they are not required, but I will give you in the form of notes. You can copy down in the notes. And the next question, the next topic is path. So in this path, what exactly we are studying? So now, if we consider two mass object, so now the body moves from one place to another place, right? A body moves from one place to another place. In order to move a body from one place to another place, so we need to draw a line, right? So that means what? It is the line drawn between 2 point references, or it is the line drawn through the two successive positions. So now once you consider position of the body, so then what? It is the line drawn between two successive positions. The line drawn between two successive positions. So now in this line, so it may be of any shape. Suppose if I consider these two positions of the body, if the body moves from this point to this point, say A, this is B, so it may move in any path. Like first thing is straight line, rectilinear motion. So semicircular, puzzle, any shape is of any shape. So that means what? It is the line drawn between two successive positions is called as what? Path. The next one is rest. So now the rest, what I have to say is, as the word itself says rest, that means what? The body will not move even after applying the external force. So now it is called as what? A body is said to be rest if it does not change its position. If the body does not change its position, even after applying, does not by applying external agency. So actually we say agencies, so applying external force. You can say a rock, you can say a bone or a tree, they are at rest. Even if you apply the force on those objects, they will not move. So hence we can say that the body is said to be rest, the body does not change its motion even after applying the external force on the body. The next one is motion. As I said, the word motion, when the body is said to be in motion, so it should change its position with respect to the surrounding and the point. So exactly opposite, if the body does not change its position, so then it's called as rest. If the body changes, if the body changes its position with respect to time and surrounding, with respect to time and surrounding, then the body is said to be what? Is in motion. Suppose even if you apply a force on me, if I am not moving, I can say I am at rest. So now if I move from one place to another place, then there is a path. So that is called as what? Path means what? It is a line between two successive positions. Then the motion means what? If the body changes its position with respect to time and the surrounding, then it is called as what? Motion. Then here we will come across types of motion. How many types of motions we have actually in the nature. So now to understand this concept, first and foremost we should understand what is the relation between rest and motion. Now here I have explained very beautiful example. Just listen, it is very clear to you. Once if I explain it, very clear to you. Rest means what? Motion means what? Just assume. Suppose you assume yourself that you are sitting in a bus, right? There is a fellow passenger along with you, right? So if you look at the fellow passenger, he is not moving, he is sitting on his seat, and that passenger look at you and you are also at rest, right? One thing, understand? After this, and if a third person who is standing outside, not in the bus, if he is on the road, if he is standing in the bus stand, or else if he is observing from outside, according to him, the bus is in motion. Once the bus is in motion, along with the bus, you are also moving. So that means what? According to the fellow passenger, you are at rest. According to the outside observer, you are moving. That means what? There is a rest, there is a motion. Hence I say there is a relation between rest and motion. You can apply this example even to train or aeroplane, any type of. Now, based on this concept, based on this idea, so we classify the motion into three types. How many types we classified? We classified three types of motion. So now one is one-dimensional motion, one-dimensional motion, two-dimensional motion, two-dimensional motion. Third one is three-dimensional motion. Three-dimensional motion. So now let's come to the meaning of one-dimensional. The one-dimensional motion is also called as motion in a straight line. Now here we connected our main topic to this introduction part. To come to this conclusion, I have to explain all these things. Then only it is very clear to you people. So what is meant by a straight line, or what is meant by one-dimensional motion? So now friends, before understanding the dimension, let me introduce one more thing that is called as coordinate system. So now in your childhood, so you studied x-axis, y-axis. So similarly in higher education we introduce one more topic called as z-axis. So x, y, z, all three are mutually perpendicular to each other. So like this. So if I am very clear, look at this now. If I consider this middle finger as my x-axis, the forefinger is y-axis, and the thumb is indicating the z-axis. You can keep in any manner like this. One thing. The forefinger is perpendicular to the direction of the middle finger. The middle finger is perpendicular to the direction of the thumb, and thumb is also perpendicular to the direction of the forefinger. Look at this. All three are mutually perpendicular to each other. So now this system is called as Cartesian coordinate system. So now here we have x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Out of three axes, if I consider only one axis, if the body is moving along the straight line, so then it is said to be what called as one-dimensional object. right? This one-dimensional movement or the motion of a body in one dimension itself is called as rectilinear motion. That means only one line, or also called as motion in a straight line, right? And the second definition is two-dimensional motion. In the two-dimensional motion, the body not only moves along x-axis, it also covers y-axis or z-axis. Out of three, any two axes. Please keep it in mind. Don't think that always one dimension means only x-axis, only y-axis, only the, out of three, any one axis the body may move. So it is one dimensional. Two dimensional means out of three, take any two axis, that is x-axis, y-axis, y-axis, z-axis, or z-axis to x-axis. You can take any two object. That is called as plane. So that is also called as motion in a plane. If the body moves in two axes, then the that motion is referred as two-dimensional object. So now for one-dimensional object, I can give a simple example, right? Okay, take a thread and put a pulse on it. So what is happening? Body, the pulse is moving only in one dimension. So that is called one-dimensional motion. In the two-dimensional motion, draw a circle on sheet. So that means what? The circle is covering both x-axis as well as y-axis. So it's now plane. So that is one thing. And third thing is, so now the third object is three-dimensional object. So that means what? When the body moves in all three possible axes, it is x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, then it is referred as three-dimensional motion. So now three-dimensional motion means the bird is flying, three-dimensional motion, aeroplane is flying, three-dimensional object, train is moving or running, three-dimensional object. I am moving from one place to another place, three-dimensional object, three-dimensional motion. So in this way we can define one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional motions. Friends, in the next class we will understand in detail about the motion of plane by considering some fundamental concepts of this topic. So with this, I am completing and concluding the introduction part of this chapter, that is motion in a straight line. Thank you.